What's going on, y'all? Happy Sunday morning. It's another beautiful day to be alive. When I hear someone say, I don't find my work fulfilling, it really alarms me. Because it allows you to kind of get in your head in this mental kind of Hunger Games shield that you're simultaneously okay at the same time with having a job or even a business or any sort of income machine that deep down at your core you don't actually, or you aren't actually aligned with. But it's giving you a false sense of security because it pays your bills somewhat, but not really much more. So you kind of get caught in this loop where you wanna snap out of it, but the risk of doing so would mean putting everything on the line. Man, this cranberry juice is so good. But man, if you just really just dread what you're doing, one very difficult in the moment decision could completely change your life. Like if you go into work tomorrow and you have just had enough. You have just had fucking enough of your little boss that's 5'4" and bosses you around, and you know you could just snap him with the twig of a finger. I've been there before. I totally understand how it feels. Because it's funny, because like if we didn't have money and the social hierarchy was just based on, physical strength or capability outside of, money making skills or an exchange of value, like these little twigs would get fucking crushed, right? Like really, a 5'3" lady is gonna tell me what to fucking do with my life? No. And you guys should be the same way. Like, I can't speak for everyone, but it really just bugs me to know that there are people just out there unhappy to their core with, their career situation. But they're too scared to do anything about it out of the fear of the unknown. But what the beauty of tearing yourself out of that situation, like ripping off a Bandaid is that once you're out, you just immediately have a gigantic brain fog just completely removed by a gigantic gust of wind out of your head. B, the next steps immediately become clear to you on what you actually want to pursue and what makes you happy, what you find fun, and what you find playful, and what you find fulfilling. C, it gives you the confidence to trust yourself, try other things, go meet new people, pick up that new hobby or that new passion that you've been putting off out of fear of breaking your routine. Maybe that's getting into better shape as well. Just like when you can think about it like this, you begin to understand that anything is possible, you know? And this is not some like loudspeaker bullshit at a basketball game telling you, oh, anything, you know. No, that's not what this is. But you need to tap into that energy that you know you have deep down inside you. And it's hard, man. I understand that it's hard. I get it. I totally understand. I even got fired from 2 jobs myself. Discarded me like a wet cum rag. Poof. Gone. Nothing more. But as soon as I got out of both of those environments, I was like, wow. This is, you know, this is real life, and I'm gonna navigate it like a man. Because being a man is not about this perfectionism lie that you're sold to on the internet. But when you do something like this, it's like inside of your body, there's a little fuse, right? And the amount of pain that you've been going through just ignites the flame. And once that flame is lit, you finally see clarity for the first time in your life. And that moment is the day that you crack the matrix and your life becomes great. It's very difficult to describe, however. Excuse me. But the way humans founded Earth was by going out and gathering and exploring the unknown. And you know, doing things that the herd probably thought at the time were absolutely asinine. Like, do you think the herd wanted the Industrial Revolution to happen? No. The herd wanted everything to stay the same all the time. And so once you break free from the cage, the cage of certainty and comfort and, you know, this like false sense of like assuredness, that's the day that you really begin to start living and you live on your own terms. And the freedom that was sold to you through the system, you actually are able to tangibly hold in your hand for the first time. And, you know, most people are like, oh, like I need X amount of money or why, you know, before I do this. And that's fine. And I understand, like, you know, people have rent to pay and, you know, they have to put food on the table and shelter over their heads. Hell, even I do right now. And, you know, my income sources are from a scattered variety of things because I'm really struggling with my personal brand. But, you know, man, like, at some point the switch has just got to flip. Like, someday is just not good enough of an answer. It just is not. And I had to learn this the hard way. I mean, I kind of got thrusted into it, and thank God that I did. But once you do this, you just learn to love the chaos. Okay? You become one with the pain and suffering because you realize it's not actually pain. It's revealing to you what your true powers are and what you're capable of. You know, I can't speak for everyone, but in my opinion, the real pain is continually going down a path you know will get you nowhere, but you're too afraid to speak your mind and make the brave decision out of fear and comfort and feeling stable. You know, you know, the three keys to freedom, in my opinion, are A, location freedom, 2, time freedom, and 3, financial freedom. Just by quitting your absolutely horrible job where they just treat you like fucking nothing, you immediately get 2 back right away. And that could be your permanent reality forever. I mean, who doesn't want to be financially free, right? But when you control your location and time, you begin to snap into a reality of yourself where you just feel free. I know that sounds cliche, like it probably is, but it's just so like you just feel primal, if that makes sense. You just feel like you are alive for the first time in your life. You feel good about the things that you do. You know, you feel motivated to wake up in the morning because you don't have to set an alarm. You know, you feel, you know, like you have control over the things that you do and, you know, control over your impulses and, you know, you limit your vices and, you know, you figure out a way to do this and figure out a way to do that and, you know, take your skills that you already have and, you know, exchange them to, you know, other people, you know, for value. And you're not just constantly thrown around by, you know, what the company does overseas because of, you know, some employee layoff in India. That doesn't affect you. And it just, you know, I always think to myself, like, I can't point the finger at anybody else because as soon as I point the finger at somebody else, I have 3 pointing right back at me. But I feel like I need to make my voice heard because this is just a fucking plague in society. The corporate plague is just fucking ruining us. Everyone speaks like a corporation now. Like every email they write, every phone call they have, you know, every Zoom meeting, like it just feels like I'm talking to an organization, like it's just a giant conglomerate. We need more people in the world that are just raw, authentic, you know, no facade behavior and a way of communicating with each other. And you have to, something just has to flip. Just you know, absolutely just blow up your career moment because you just know deep down that if you go down this path, you will experience the ultimate pain later. And it's hard. I understand that it's hard. I totally understand. But we suffer more in imagination than reality. That's the thing. And I promise you, once you go into your boss's office and just tell him you're leaving, don't put your 2 weeks in, just get the fuck out of there and just leave. You have my word, everything will be okay. You will survive. You will prosper. You will have courage. You will unlock a part of yourself that knows he can navigate the world and knows he can do things that the average, thinker can't do. Call it persistence with resistance. And your intuition is never wrong. If you have a gut feeling that it is not the right path for you and it is not serving you in any way, you just need to tear off the Bandaid and just get the fuck out of there. Because someday is a very dangerous state of mind to be in, because essentially you're just allowing yourself to put off the essential thing out of a fear of the unknown. And things like debt, debt is hard, I understand. And things like debt and owing people things, and having this cloud of fear over you is controlling you. And this is not financial advice, and you don't need to act on these things, but in my opinion, I would rather be in debt and know that I'm on the right path while working to create freedom and control my time and location, than to not control my time, not control my location, and have a stable salary job that I know in the end will cause me to feel an amount of regret that the pain in the moment of trying to become free is just millions and millions and millions of times higher. So I guess I'll leave you guys with this. You just have to get the fuck out. You just have to. At some point, it just has to happen. Why can't that be today or this week? You need to get out a piece of pen and paper and just write, I am quitting my job tomorrow. I'm not putting in my 2 weeks. I'm not negotiating. I'm not going to get baited by an extra pay raise. I'm leaving. And that is final. And what's next, I do not know. But what has gotten me this far is more than enough to know that I am able to get where I want to go. And that's really all you need at the end of the day. But thank you guys for watching the video. I hope I could be a beacon of hope and of shining light in your life. Looking forward to doing more of these. This is actually my first one. So, yeah, see you in the next one.